The time has come to play some Titans. But I'm not talking Loyalist or Traitor. I'm talking about the one and only true Titan, captured Mandragorax. Today. What up everybody, Scuffy here, and it is time for another deck list video. Way overdue. Captured Mandragorax. I've been playing this guy, this bad boy Titan, since he was just a baby boy. He was just a wee lad. I wouldn't say he's the warlord I've got the most games with, but I think we talked about this on the podcast before when we were doing the Chaos card by card. Capture Mandragorax is the warlord that I just kind of go to. He's the comfort zone, like, hey, I just want to play a couple games, want to be fun, play some memes, or do some pew-pew, get my dailies in quick, play tactics, challenge, whatever it is. I usually play Capture Mandragorax, which is why he's very high. There's other warlords I've got up there that are also kind of in that boat where, like, let's just get dailies done fast. But Mandragorax is much more than let's just get your dailies done fast, ladies and gentlemen. There is a way. There is the way of the Princeps, and we're going to show you what it is today. This ability is very basic. 2 damage, deals 2 damage, 200 deal 2 damage to 2 random enemies. 2, 2, 2. 2 by 2 by 2. But when you build your deck right, you can control where that 2 is going 90% of the time and basically whittle down your opponent. Not to mention everything else that you're throwing at them. But it leads to a lot of variety. As a neutral warlord, he doesn't have access to some things like hard removal. He does have low initiative, so you're going to, most of the time, get that counterattack. That's not anything to count on. I would argue that the Chaos counterattack is one of the weakest. Not the weakest, but one of the weakest. So you really have to know how to pew-pew. And today we're going to show you how to pew-pew. First off, let's start off with the video, and we'll get into it. So, you want to know how to pew-pew. Here's something that I like about the Mandragorax. Mandragorax is always reliable. Always reliable. Unless they're stunned, you're going to be getting that ability firing off every turn. In games like this, I really enjoy. I throw a Kyrene game up here so you guys can understand, because this is the new Orphans of War. New warlord. Not necessarily, but new cards, absolutely. The Orphans of War got some pretty good power tools. You can see a couple of them here in this game. That's not what it's about. What it is about this game is whittling down the opponent despite everything that they throw at me. And the way I built the deck, when we're done with the video here, I'll show you the deck, but the way I built it is not intentionally 100%, but like there's some thought in there. 50% of the cards I've got in there will do nothing against me. This is not a troopless deck, but this is a super troop light deck. And as a result of that, and I feel like this right here was a misplay on his part. He should have saved that for much later in the game. It does nothing to me. I can still shoot my ability. I'll just save these tactics for next turn. But really, most of the tactics, not all, but most of the tactics are troop damaging, dealing, board wide. I don't have that. So if he copies with Kyrene, or he steals with Jubok, or even if he plays Remembrance Order poorly, he's not going to get anything for it. He's going to get very little for it. As a matter of fact, we're 11 health up. We started 5 health up here at the end of his turn. We're still going to be up on health. We're going to aim to stay up on health most of this game. It's the way it goes. Use your ability. Use your ability often. There's going to be some turns where I won't use my ability. I'll play a tactic and then I'll face strike, or I'll just play a tactic or a card. But 9 times out of 10, you want to combo your ability with whatever you're playing from hand, or even if you're not playing anything from hand, just using the ability. Because what you're doing is you're saving up options for later in the game. You're saving up the ability to do things later in the game with more cards in your hand. If you just are throwing cards out and playing those cards on curve and not using your abilities often, you will have no cards in hand, and then late game when it counts, you will not have an ability. That is not good. That's no bueno. That's a little bit of a lucky shot, but at the same time, it could have hit. One of those was going to die. Like, one of those is going to die this turn. I think he realizes the futility. We're still up by 3. So he's trying to close the gap, throw out some bodies to negate the power of my Pew Pew. And again, you can't stop the Pew Pew. It's going to happen. We're going to focus our searchlight on you, and we're going to zap, and we're going to whittle you down. We're up by 8. And I think really here I could wrap it up. We could keep it tight, but I think I go a little bit further just to kind of assert dominance. Because when you're Titan, when you're the true Titan, and I'm not talking these loyalist traitor scum, these ones they're coming out with like crazy advantage in their own faction card pools. You're a true Titan, you're a captured Mandragorax. You got to know when to assert dominance, right? You got to know today's the day. Today's the day that I really assert dominance. I could have done the old ricochet and killed him off and then, thrown down the breach. Sure, I could have. But no, what I'm going to do here is assert dominance, and that's how we do it. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that you heal for 4. This right here would have been the turn that he should have had that Ashen Claw or the Talon saved up to increase the cost of my tactics. Anyways, we're going to finish this off with an orbital bombardment because that's how you do things. You, as a Titan, you just rack and ruin, right? You just boom, blow, explosions. Let's wrap this up. Let's take a look at the deck here. Shall we? Are you ready, Princeps? Come, focus searchlight with me. Focus searchlight with me. As you'll see here, it is troop light. I got 2 troops. And quite frankly, I'll be honest, they're not required. These troops are not required. The 2 troops I have are Jubok Starsight, and I've got Ambassador Melgator. Now, I'd argue that Melgator is very handy. Jubok is not. Jubok is in there just as a little thing, throwaway, maybe distraction. Maybe I might copy something useful from the opponent. Earlier drafts, as the game has gone on, I've kind of moved pieces around, added tactics, taken out tactics. Earlier, like when I was meming, if I was just playing it for memes, I would throw in Pyramid of Photep, or Pyramid of Tiska, I should say. No, Pyramid. Yeah, Pyramid of Photep. For shits and grins. Like, that's all. It was just goofy stuff, see what I could come up with. But when you want to play the true Pew Pew, the Pew Pew that matters, you've really got to look at what you've got here. So you're going to have your ability. Cards that do additional damage or spread damage, like Ricochet, is very important. And Void Engagements feels like it goes without saying if you have this many tactics in your deck. This is a 1-draw deal 2 to Warlord straight up. Seek and Destroy is going to help you get those fatter troops. Angelic Presence is there for healing. This can go, give or go, depending on how you want to do it. I would recommend some healing in the deck, whether that is with Manifest Destiny, Angelic Presence, or Double Wonders of Tiska, maybe a Pi Alpha Theta. Pi Alpha Theta would be a nice replacement for a Jubok if you want to go that route and be a little bit more efficient. You certainly can. Breach is for those beefy front lines, as well as just the pocket 2 damage if you need it. This deck works really well with Crucial Choice. Crucial Choice is kind of lost a little bit of steam because of the Titan cards being added to the card pool, and that's fine. That's fine, but this is a deck that takes its time using its ability. It does not have to play a Crucial Choice right away. It can, and some games get wrapped up with that, some don't, but this is not a required card. This is just a card for the base of it. We'll do a couple more replays here, and then we'll take a look at some cards that you can use. Informant Network, again, we're talking about spreading my damage. Losing stealth, I'm not attacking with a whole lot. I'm shooting, but I do want to put pressure on. If somebody's got a stealth troop, I want them to know that now I can see them. I focus my searchlight, right? That's what we're doing. We're focusing our searchlight on the Informant Network. Got to have the crack grenades, again, pocket damage, especially now with the ordnance. Like, why not, right? Like, we're going damage. Going damage, pew pew, blam, boom, mortars, artillery strikes. Like, this deck, and if you don't get it, you're like, oh, it's just a lot of burn damage. That's the point. That's the point of playing a Titan. This Titan in particular, you will feel the might of these mortar strikes and the battlefield just being obliterated beneath your warhound strides as you pew pew to victory. I'm going to say pew pew like another 20 times before this video is done. Defensive satellites. I do not like this card in most decks, but in this deck it absolutely works because basically at 7 energy, I've got a board wide 1-4 plus 2 to 2 damage. That's a board wide 1-4 with an additional 3 to 6 to 2 other targets, or 2 targets specifically. So we double up on that. We've got the Manifest Destiny for some additional life. Again, it's a legendary. It's not required. I do recommend a little bit of health or some ways to increase your health pool. Planetary Purge works in the same vein as Defensive Satellites if I need it to, but also it's just a straight 4 to face if I need it. Ornitov's Barge has seen its ups and downs. It's been included, it's been excluded. Currently, it's on the rise. It's a good card to have, especially in a deck that does not have any troops. And if you play it right, or if you get lucky and your counterattack lowers this to a 5 cost, you could very well play Ornitov's Barge and a Defensive Satellites in the same turn, gain a full board, kill half their board, and you're off to the races. Melt-A-Bomb, nobody expects a Melt-A-Bomb. In this day and age with so much ordnance out there, this is one of those cards that I just have left in this deck. It doesn't need to be in there, but at 9 energy, it destroys a vehicle or structure, deals 2 damage to adjacent units, which usually is going to be the Warlord because I've kept the board thin, and then I can fire up with my guns and do an additional 2 damage for face, and then we've got Orbital Bombardment for the closer. That's the deck, guys. It's very simple. It's straightforward. It's burn, but it's burn thematically and in style, and there's a lot of pieces here that you can kind of take and choose. Like, you know what, are you running into vehicles a lot? No, then toss the Melt-A-Bomb or toss a crack grenade. Figure out something else. Is there a certain tactic that does damage more that you like? Perhaps that's what you want to run into. If you're running into more stun, maybe Wonders of Tizca. A lot of these cards here you're seeing, as far as the Warlord, which is a legendary Warlord. It's been out for a while, which is one reason why I'm finally doing the video, because I figure at this point people should have it. But aside from Mandragorax and maybe Melgator and the Barge, these other legendaries not required at all. There's only 2 epics in here. Eratan I kind of glazed over, but Eratan in the Titan games, boom, that's a dead Titan arm. You know, if you've whittled them down appropriately. This is not as effective as other ordnance cards, but if they've got 5 pieces for 5, I'm dealing 10 and stunning to a Titan arm. That can be very handy, or even a Titan vehicle or a fat troop. Sabotage is super important here. Sabotage, it's super important here because if it's got Survivor, as you saw in that last game, I can just negate that. I can negate an ability. I can negate frontline. I can negate precog. This just works. This just works really well. So let's take a look at a couple more replays for funsies so I can show you how we assert dominance as a Titan over games that maybe you're thinking, oh, you know what? I have trouble with these. There's no way that Mandragorax can handle that. Oh, ye of little faith. So let's bring the heat. Let's bring the fire against the agents of the Sigilate. Right? They're a feisty unit. This ability here for Iota normally can be a little bit of a problematic. Doesn't matter to me. I'm going to be doing 2 damage every turn. Every turn. We're just going to shoot for it. Let's do it. Like, you can hit me for 2 every other turn. I can hit you every turn for 2. Doesn't matter that the ramping is going on. This is what we're going to do. And we're going to hit hard, and we're going to assert dominance. Because the assassins are nothing compared to captured Titans. You know, the lore with captured Mandragorax, I don't know if this is actually based off of anything in the Forge World or Black Library books. It is an event warlord. We had the choice between the Loyalist version, which was this ability now. It's totally different than the original ability, which the original ability was if you did not control any Chaos troops at the start of your turn, you take 1 damage. And then I believe it was pay 2 to deal 1 damage to 3 random enemies, or 2 and 1. And then that just did not work out. Nobody played Mandragorax because he had to have Chaos troops, which were terrible at the time. There was only a handful of things that were worth including. So they changed it around. They actually gave us the Loyalist ability with the Traitor skin. But this game here, they play Crucial Choice. They've got that Pale Spear. So they've actually got a fairly decent way to ping me every turn, even when they're not hitting me with the ability. The problem is, I'm still up by 13 health, and I'm fine. Like, they're throwing down cards to get some cards out there to try to filter out my ability to hit their Warlord. But when you save your tactics and use them smartly, you can combine them to basically negate that whole purpose. Like, now you're down 2 troops. You're a lone target. If you want to avoid a shot of 2 more, you have to throw down 2 more troops. And that's exactly what they're going to, like, let's just hope that, you know, you can't kill this one, and maybe this one will survive, and I can put the Chosen and Sigilate on here. I'm still up by 13. It does not matter. It does not matter so much that I'm just going to, you know, go ahead and, like, waste the Informant Network. Like, you could have some stealth stuff. All the stealth stuff of Agents of the Sigilate requires setup, and I've got enough to just hit them and whittle them down. This Ornithop's Barge will do nothing for the lady. That's actually probably the most insulting thing that she could have gotten, right? She could have gotten the 6-drop, the 6/6. I was very tempted. I was very tempted to play my own barge and shoot, but I didn't. I really didn't. I figured I'd save this for like something else down the road. Maybe there'd be a better time to play it versus like 3 troops. But I really did think about it. So yeah, I mean, this is just it. Like, they realize I don't have troops, or I'm not playing troops, so let's just throw everything down on what we can. I don't really want this to stick around because I don't want a Chosen Sigilate or double Chosen Sigilate that I have to deal with. So we're just gonna burn. We're gonna shoot. We're gonna heal because I want to assert dominance and you know, be up 25 health. And even with their, like, okay, they're like, oh, I've got a Manifest Destiny too. All right, I'm still up. It's still not, like, this is not a good game for you. So let's go ahead and keep it up. Let's keep the pressure up. Let's just shoot what we can. Save the cards that you can until you get to the 10 energy. And in these situations here, I push a little bit more to either force them to blow any healing or anything else that they might think like, oh, well, like maybe he doesn't have anything. I've got answers to another vehicle right here in my hand. I've got 2 actually. So yeah, I'm going to shoot him. I'm going to save this for the next turn because I can shoot and then def sats if I so choose, which I definitely do choose. Can't attack, but that's fine, right? And then I figure, you know what, at this stage, maybe you pick the def sats to increase your stats. Let's just go random. One of these things will die. One will win me the game. That's the one. That's how you do it. Easy peasy. Easy peasy, Princeps. But what about versus another Titan? There's no way. There's no way you're saying to yourself that you can beat this. This is ridiculous. This is the win rate. The meta report just came out on this thing today. I think by the time you hear this video, there may be a meta. There may be a balance patch. This might not have the same outcome or play if it were played later. But as of the date of this recording, this is fresh. The meta report just came out, and yeah, we're gonna go face. And this is one of those games where I'm not pew-pewing. You'd be surprised, but. Take the 5, take the 4, hit face, right? We're down 5, we're down 6, 7. We're hitting face every time we can. Why am I not using my ability here? Because obviously this really waters down where my tactics are going. Right here, this is a prime example, right? I'm using the artillery strike because I might as well throw it down before he plays 2 more units. But all 3 of those artillery strikes didn't hit the face. Like, none of them did, which is a shame. So we're going to go ahead and work with what we've got. I know he's going to have lots more vehicles. We'll save the crack grenade for maybe something later. And we're going to just hammer away at face. The more energy that he's spending to play troops, he's not loading things, which is great. Maybe he thinks like, oh, this will stop me from going face. Which, to be fair, that's probably the best play that you could do. The downside is now I've got 2 def sats in my hand and I'm feeling pretty. I thought about using the Seek and Destroy, but we'll save that because this board is rich for plundering. And, you know, I feel good about it. I feel good. He still hasn't unlocked this, so that's energy that he's going to have to spend. This is stunned. We're down 7. And I debated hard here, like, do I do Def Sats and then Crag Grenade? I don't have enough energy for that. Can I Crag Grenade and then Seek and Destroy, or vice versa? What we'll go ahead and do is do what we did. It wasn't optimal, but I didn't want to play Barge at that point and have him have one unit that he could kill whatever I rolled with. I'm going to play Barge this game. It's going to happen. I want to make sure I can play it at a time where he has as few responses as possible. Right? Like when he's fired everything, or nothing's loaded, or everything's stunned, that's when you play Barge in this game. And this is why Barge has kind of seen a resurgence as games like this, or games versus Titan. This is 5 free units that could be high rolls, right? They theoretically could be high rolls. We're going to save the Ricochet because I know that they've got shield access. So we always want to keep that and use those pings wisely in here. It's tempted to throw down a Jubok and maybe get some copied Titan cards. You know, some Titan troops could be handy. But I'm going to save what I've got. We'll play with face, right? Now we can go. Now with 9 energy, I feel like I can ping that, break the shield. I'm going to play the Barge full, see what we get here. That's a fairly decent high roll. And then I'm going to stop the one unit that could disrupt 2 of these in conjunction with this. This pings me for 2 somewhere, not a problem. Oh no, I lost 1. You have a troop slot filled up. Oh no, I lost the weakest one, which could still, I mean, to be fair, Winter Soldier in this game could be handy just using a 1 to stun these guns, right? So let's not do that. Instead, now we are at a decent advantage. We're not going to use our 6 to attack. We're just going to use our 6 to make more 6s. We'll make our 2/3 guy do the work. Jubok can do more work if you can't get rid of him. And then we'll just go ahead and hammer face. This is stunned. He can't do Deadly Squat. Nice. This can come in very handy as a front line with shield. And I think this is kind of his, like, last hurrah play. But I don't know what he planned on following that up with. Because if he hit one of these, he wouldn't kill either. If he hit this, he wouldn't kill that. Like, he wouldn't kill anything. He did some damage, but it was not ideal. And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is in fact the game. That's asserting dominance on a superior Titan. You know, the true superior Titan is the captured Mandragorax. There you go. Let's talk about other cards that you can consider if you want to adjust your style of Pew Pew. And there's a lot, folks. There's a lot in the neutral card pool. Most of the ones that support troops, you can just go ahead and ignore. They're not going to be handy for you. They're not going to do what you want, right? Crushing Power is an option to stun an enemy troop, but I find Sabotage is more useful, more effective than stunning a troop. I just do. Like, it doesn't do any damage. I want to try to do damage when I can. You'll note that I don't have Command Bridge in here. I got too many tactics. It's not necessary. You could do a Silent Death. I used to run a Silent Death a lot, but I just over time have kind of replaced it because I'd rather not worry about stunning full health things because I plan on damaging things as much as possible. You could do in the 2 Informer Networks, but where is it? Where's I'm looking at? If you're a beginner and you have the trap, that's something to consider. I think at a certain point you're just gonna like get rid of it. Double defensive satellites. Again, we talked about Pyramid Photo. Rain of Fire is the one. This is really handy in dealing with units with Survivor. It's a little high on the cost side, and as you can see here, really I try to like keep it around 3 cost. Now, I've mentioned this in other videos, but I'll mention it again here. The reason why I have so many things 1, 2, 3s is because when I get to that 10 energy mark, it allows me to play multiple cards together for maximum combo damage. If I have 1 5 energy card, at 7 energy I can play it and my ability. At 10 energy I can play it and maybe 1 other card in my ability. At 10 energy I can play 2 Seek and Destroys and a Breach and my ability and, you know, a Ricochet to clear the board. Like, it's entirely possible. Volcanic Instability is a good card to consider too. It really depends. Like Planetary Purge, Rain of Fire, Volcanic Instability, I'd recommend picking one and not picking both. You could very well. I used to put this up in here, not Barge of the Damned, but the Pax Chaotica. This was a good alternate finisher, just for some random demons like surprise. You wasted all your troop removal on my face, but now demons, surprise. But I think honestly, Ornithop's Barge fills that role just fine. No need for drilling sites in this deck. No need for mechadendrites or troops. Really, we're going troop light, but we're looking at tactics that can do damage. If you really want to throw in some support troops, put in support troops that do damage at the end of their turn, so they become targets for your opponent. You could consider a Vorax. The more troops you put in here, though, the more you need to consider removing Void Engagement, and the less comboing that you're doing, and the much more like you're like, you know, a Titan supporting things. Don't put Doombringer in here. At 8 energy, Doombringer's a 2 board wide. Well, you've already got a 2 that mostly hits board wide because you should have kept the board low at that point, right? At 10 energy, you have 2 board wide, and you have 2 units that are taking 4 to face. That's not as optimal as playing several cards back to back or together. That really just isn't. So you've got to look at optimal plays. You could put in an Arvis Lighter. Arvis Lighter is a very good card. Goes in a lot of decks for draws or heals. So if you don't have some of those healing cards, that is a card worth considering. You could consider Kaiser Lane. Kaiser Lane was in several of my builds previously when I was doing like memes or like let's see what we could do. But I took it out just because try to streamline it. I could take out Jubok and put in some more of these tactics as well. I used to have Remembrancer Order in. This is the same deck. I won't say card for card, but this Warlord and this playstyle was the same deck I was playing when Crucial Choice was its original form and everybody was bagging on Crucial Choice. And I can't tell you how many games I won with the jank I'd pull from Crucial Choice. I would probably say it was over a dozen. It's not a lot, but when you win specifically because you know what you played was from Crucial Choice, old Crucial Choice, that's good. Ravage City doesn't do damage. It's not a bad card, though, in matchups or matchups against Titans. Obviously, it's a good card in general. You could consider one of in place of something like Sabotage. You could also consider, where's it? Not Xenos Threat. Exorcism. Exorcism is not too handy for damage against demon troops, which with Ruin Storm out, this might be a thing, but otherwise it's just 3 damage, 3 energy to stun. So it's not bad. It's not great all the time, but if you're running into Ruin Storm or demons, consider it. Consider the Exorcism. You could also run in Crumbling Battleground, right? Just as a surprise, board wide at 6 energy, you hit 2 things for 2, you hit everything for 1, yourself included, and it forces your opponent to focus on this for a turn or continue to get that burn. Do not put Malgador's Observer in your deck. This deck here, what works is that most of these tactics can target troops and Warlord, or target randomly along with your ability. I have very few cards that just target troops, and the ones that I do are reliable and consistent. There's too many 1 and 2 energy cards in here to rely on in Malgador's Observer. Do not include that in your deck, please. Pick something else. Pick a second Eritan. Pick a Hanun's Mortars. You know, this is random damage with a body, but it is random damage. The earlier builds used to have that. I don't mind it. It's not bad. Mortar Carrier, again, if you're moving away from the tactics and you want a little bit more troop support, Pew Pew, those are the ones that you want. The ones that hit when they rally or at the end of the turn and are going to require your opponent to answer them. And I really think you should have one orbital bombardment. Orbital bombardment. If I say it too fast, it trips me up. You got to have one. This is your neutral closer. This is a closer for any deck faction that does not have a closing card, and it works. It works really well because you should have whittled the board down so that there really is only 1 to 2 targets, and you know where that 10 damage is going. That's it for me, folks. Don't backpedal slowly anymore. If you're backpedaling slowly, then you are no longer a Mandragorax. No. You must adopt your firing positions, charge your weapons, and yeah, good luck and burn it. Hope this inspired you. Until next time, keep playing Legions.